this is something I was curious about your opinion on. What interesting data on TradingView can be used to filter trades?
Hmm.
I love to bring one up that I don't think a bunch of people know about, and that's the Volley Index, VOLI.
Hmm.
I know you're mentioning the VIX,
Hmm.
but whereas the VIX will provide the VIX is based on a wide series of options for different time periods and different strikes. Volley is almost like the VIX, but more narrowly focused. It's narrowly focused to 30 days out and at the money assets. So some people will use even the ratio between the VIX and Volley in order to get an idea of the bullishness or bearishness of the market. But I thought it was very interesting to be able to have something within TradingView that can be used to help filter out if this is a good time or bad, is this a bullish time or a bearish time? Because the VIX, I find, I mean, there's been all kinds of issues with VIX and VVIX and all that over the last few years.
Or even
But
VIX 1 day, 1D. The 1 day VIX is less helpful than I thought it would be. It's pretty noisy.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Volley is pretty interesting because it's more narrow. Are there any assets like that or non-tradable assets like that you take a look at in markets?
Sure. I mean, there are like right now, I'm using a measurement of some of the top NASDAQ constituents as part of a signal for where I think price action might show up in futures on NQ or MNQ. That signal is mainly just looking at the individual price action of the top 20 constituents of the NASDAQ 100, which I recognize is like, okay, why 20 of the 100? Why not all 100? Well, one, TradingView only allows you to use request security up to a certain number of assets. So I can't capture the whole 100. But two, I think the top 20 NASDAQ constituents represent like over 55% of the entire market cap
That's
of the index. So what's the point in the other 45 anyway? So yeah, that particular signal is helpful. It helps me understand what's moving price action, but it's not necessarily a trading signal. It just contributes to a filter for whether or not I think price action is most likely to go up or down around VWAP. Essentially, it is measuring the individual VWAP of each of those 20 constituents, along with a couple other price action signals I look for.
Two of the things that or one category of things that I pay attention to all the time and I love that TradingView has is the access to the Federal Reserve economic data.
Right.
And so stuff like stuff like, well, we've talked about it
Unemployment
before,
rate
M2
or even
exactly.
the Fed funds rate. Sure.
Yeah, so I love this uh, the PMI index because it's a great proxy for the business cycle, right? And anybody can see this goes up and down in this nice little sine curve. And generally speaking, when you're at the bottom, moving up, you're headed towards good times, an expansion within the markets, and then down the other way, recession. So that's all I find to be very fascinating, very interesting. But the one I use all the time is the NFCI. The
Yeah.
financial
No, you
conditions
mentioned that one.
index is like super useful whenever the price is heading lower. It's credit is more free flowing, money is more accessible, and it's bullish for markets. And then the opposite when it goes up. So and I love that in Pine Script. In TradingView, I can filter certain signals accordingly. All right. So I just wanted to mention that because I know it took a few years before I even realized that TradingView has more than just assets within it, and they keep adding more and more things.
I think that's a big takeaway from the idea of filtering in general is to look at some of the other indexes and indicators that are available and pull them in through the request.security function so that you can couple them with how you're observing the technicals or fundamentals of whatever it is that you're trading. And if you can find a relationship between those two, it'll show up on the charts or at least in the strategy performance that you're evaluating.